What is up, guys? JPR Tech here, and thank you for tuning into the channel. This is the Puerto Rican living in Japan, talking about tech, photography, videography, and all the good things we use in our life. And in this channel, we try to figure things and do things for cheap, or better yet, free. And today I'm going to show you guys some things that you can do to improve the quality of your 1080p footage in Magic Lantern shooting, in particular with the Canon EOS M, which is recording me right now in 1080p 3:2 aspect ratio, 11 bits. So actually this is not the highest quality we can get out of Magic Lantern and Canon EOS M, but just sometimes 1080p can be very useful, and especially it's the most reliable mode in Magic Lantern. So that's why we sometimes have to shoot in 1080p. But that moire, that aliasing, it's horrible. So here's some tips that in this video I'm going to share with you guys how to deal with that. I have talked about this in the past in other videos, talking about improving the quality of our 1080p, but that was more related to the software side of things. This time we're going to be focusing in the hardware, what you can do physically to improve shooting in 1080p. All right, so the first thing you want to do is stabilize your footage. Get a gimbal or even a tripod. You don't need an expensive gimbal, just stabilize the footage the best you can. And if you don't have neither of those things, then just get a strap, a neck strap. Use the neck strap that comes with the camera, lean on walls, and just stabilize your footage. That's gonna help alleviate some of that flickering that happens when there is a moire or aliasing artifacts in the corners or edges of your image. So stabilizing the footage is one thing that's going to help slow things down and just smooth your clip a little bit better, therefore helping with moire. The next thing you want to do is avoid shooting with wide or ultra wide lenses, such as fisheye lens and ultra wide lens like the Sigma 16mm f1.4. As much as I love that lens, that is my favorite lens with Magic Lantern and the Canon EOS M, but in 1080p it's just too wide that it just causes a lot of artifacts. And actually, dare I say, that lens is too sharp, that it just creates more moire. The kit lens, the 15-45, can also create moire if we're shooting too wide. So instead of that, get a standard lens, a standard focal lens such as a 35, or if you must, I'm shooting with the 22mm right now, and yeah, get a prime lens like a 20mm, 22mm, or the even better 35mm prime lens. Those work wonderfully in 1080p, and that is due to the, if you're shooting too wide, it's just too much information, too detailed, too complex, too small, that with the line skipping that 1080p does, it just creates that moire and aliasing. So having a standard focal length, less things will be in focus, so that means less things to moire. So that's why having especially a prime lens is going to help you out even more. I personally recommend this Pank lens that's shooting me because it's super cheap and it's really sharp, but at the same time not too sharp. It's still a prime lens, so you're gonna get separation and you get less things to artifact. Or if you want a tighter shot or even better, cleaner shot, then just step up to a 35mm or even a 50mm. But mind you that it's gonna be quite a tight fit and it might not be suitable indoor situations, so take that with a grain of salt. But I definitely recommend getting a really standard focal lens to help with the aliasing and moire. A couple of things you can do to even improve that is shoot wide open. Just open up that aperture ring, let all the light in. That's gonna soften the image a lot more, and of course, yes, soften the moire, so it's gonna be less detail, less contrast on the image. That's actually great for avoiding aliasing and moire. And even though you might not have a prime lens, the standard kit lens at f3.5 is not ideal, but hey, you just use what you got. Even at f3.5 is gonna be a lot better than shooting at f4 or f4 5.6. And lastly, another thing you can do to improve your standard or your prime lens is to slap a black mist filter on it. Now, a black mist filter, if you didn't know, is just a filter that we place in front of the lens that has some artifacts and flickering inside of it, and that creates blurriness in the image. It softens and blooms the highlight. So yes, it does exactly what you're thinking. It's gonna just bloom the whole image. That means, again, less contrast, less moire and aliasing. It does help. I have tested it with and without. Black mist filter helps. Now, if you're on a tight budget, there is a real cheap DIY how to do a sort of a fake black mist effect, and all you need is a UV filter, a regular good old UV filter with no tints, no polyacing, nothing on it, just a regular protective filter, and just spray hairspray on it. Just spray something that dries off, and that's gonna actually fog up that filter, creating like a black mist effect. But don't spray it while it's on the camera. And those are my 2 cents, or should I say 3 cents if you count. There were 3 tips of shooting and improving the 1080p Magic Lantern. Again, stabilize your footage, get a prime lens and shoot wide open, and lastly, if you can afford it, get a black mist filter. Now, there are other things that really affect how the image turns out in 1080p. Here's some bonus tips here. Be conscious of what you're shooting. If you're shooting something, say a lens that might have sharp writing on it, really contrasty fonts, then you might want to steer away from 1080p. So just be mindful of your surroundings, what you're shooting. Another tip is to just stay close to your subject or your object that you're shooting at. Don't try to shoot wide sceneries. Keep the subject really close to the lens, and that's gonna help capture a lot of details and avoid the moire and aliasing. Just adapt your crop mode and the mode that you're using to the scene that you're shooting. That's really gonna be the best practice after all, because like they say, you gotta use the right tool for the job. So that includes our modes in crop mode. We can use each mode for a certain situation. So guys, thanks again for sticking around for this tutorial. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, you can help me in return smashing that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to let you know when another video does come out. But thanks again so much, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Happy shootings.